Morning. Okay, I'm officially calling the state of Georgia versus Octavian Reese. The state is represented by ADA Cheryl Freeman. The defendant is appearing live via Zoom at Clayton County Jail, and he'll be represented by attorney Nicole Jones. ADA Freeman, please call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Owens, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about providing the matter of Octavian Reese will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Officer Jalen Owens at the Clayton County Police Department.
How long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
2 years now.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit.
Over 2 years now.
Sir, were you working with the Clayton County Police Department on February 7th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
On that particular day, did you assist in a traffic stop that was at, that was on a 2015 Nissan?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that traffic stop in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
When you said that you were assisting the traffic stop, was there another officer who went to the driver's side?
Yes, ma'am. The initial traffic stop was due to the actual driver running a stop sign, and I backed him up, and the traffic stop was conducted right then.
Okay, so was there another officer who approached the car before you did?
Correct.
While the other officer approached the car, did you stay in your vehicle or did you also approach the car?
I also approached the car.
How many people were in the car?
There were 3 people in the car.
Was Mr. Reese a passenger in the car?
Yes, ma'am. He is the front passenger.
Did you make contact with Mr. Reese?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
When you made contact with Mr. Reese, was he still seated inside of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And please tell us what happened as a result of the contact you made with Mr. Reese.
I made contact by Mr. Reese. Basically, the owner and driver of the vehicle gave us permission to search the vehicle after speaking with him. And as we were getting all the passengers out one by one, I asked for consent to search him, make sure he didn't have any weapons or any drugs or anything on him or anything, to which he agreed. And the search resulted in pulling 2 debit cards belonging to someone else out of his rear back pocket.
So at this time, also, just so we make sure that Mr. Reese had gotten out of the car.
Correct.
Okay. And where were the 2 debit cards located?
In his back right pocket.
Had Mr. Reese given you consent to search him?
Yes, ma'am.
Were the debit cards inside of a wallet or were they just by themselves in his pocket?
No, they were just by themselves, separate from his wallet and everything else.
Did you ask Mr. Reese who the cards belong to or ask him anything about the cards?
Yes, ma'am, I did. He said he didn't know who they belonged to. He said he found them at the train station or bus stop or something like that. And he's told me that they didn't work.
Did Mr. Reese indicate how he knew they didn't work?
When I asked him, he was saying that he just knew it didn't work. And when I confirmed, in order for him to know that they didn't work, he had to try it. he advised that he didn't try it. So
He advised it. Say that one more time.
he advised that he didn't try to use them.
After Mr. Reese gave you that information, did you contact the bank or anything to see if he had tried to use the cards?
No, after he gave me that information, I pretty much, I just asked him. He said he found them at the bus stop. He said they didn't work. I asked him, how did he know? He was claiming that he didn't use them. And then I asked him, did he make any efforts to turn them into law enforcement or to return it? And he advised, no, he didn't.
Were you able to make contact with the person listed on the card, Octavius Patterson?
No, solely because it's not 100% certain that the person that we believe is Octavius Patterson is the one that we would be calling.
Did all of this happen in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Were the debit cards placed in evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
And just so we're clear, were both of these debit cards, they had the same name listed on them?
Correct.
What type of debit cards were they?
They were two debit cards. I believe one was Chime and one belonged to another bank.
Were you able to contact the bank to confirm that these were, if they were real debit cards?
If they were written, no, ma'am. I work at nighttime, so generally during the time that we're working, the banks are closed.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, your witness, Attorney Jones.
Officer Owens, you stated that you asked for a consent to search his person when he was removed out the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am. I asked everybody for permission to search the person.
And you were just searching for weapons, correct?
No, I was searching for anything, weapons, drugs, whatever. And I told them, and I pull out in their pocket, I'm going to set it in front of them. And they agreed and accepted it.
Okay. And there was no drugs or anything found in the vehicle, correct?
Other than, I forgot the name. It's not listed as a narcotic, but it's fatal if consumed. They bought it from a sex shop, but no. They were on the way to purchase drugs, but no, they didn't have one in the vehicle.
Okay. So there was no reason, no cause or anything for you to search for drugs, correct?
Other than consent, correct.
And there was no reason other than saying that you pulled them over for running a stop sign for them to exit the vehicle, correct?
Was, but that's more on a confidential note between the driver.
All right. And on this financial card, you charged him with financial transaction card theft, correct?
Correct.
And on this, my client stated that he did not try to use them, correct?
Yeah, he said he didn't try to use them. He said it didn't work without a pen.
And in this one, it's a debit card, correct?
Yes, I believe both were debit cards, correct.
And it's understandable that everyone knows that a debit card uses a PIN number, correct?
Correct.
And you also stated that you did not contact the bank to even see if Antavius, or whoever the listed name on the card, let me get it correct, is an actual person, correct?
Well, when you look in our database, we have someone by that name, but as you know, many people have similar or the same name, so we can't really verify because it's the only name. The only information on there is a name. There is no date of birth or phone number to return it to.
So as you state to this day, even when you did the arrest from February 7th, you do not have any information that there's an actual victim named Octavius Patterson, correct?
I don't get what you're asking. Is there a person named Antavius Patterson? That is correct, but
You do not know, as you stated earlier, you said you do not know if you were to call Octavius Patterson, whether that would be the person you would be contacting?
correct, whether if that's the correct person.
So you do not know the correct person of the holder of the cards.
That the cards didn't have a middle initial on there. So the victim that we have or that we were able to locate in our system, he has a middle name. It's just, we're just not sure that that's correctly correlated with them cards.
And you also, as you sit here today, do not know if those cards were actually active cards, correct?
I mean, if he said he tried, or if he said they wouldn't work without his pen, then no, I don't, because I wouldn't have tried the cards either.
And you didn't call in to see if they were actually active cards and not just discarded cards at a bus stop, correct?
I mean, you can't call a bank at midnight and expect to receive someone, especially if you're not the card holder. There's certain information you would have to have.
From October 7th to this date, you do not know if those are active cards, correct? I'm sorry, from
Sure.
February 7th is when you said you picked them up. February 7th to this date, you do not know if they're active cards, correct?
Correct.
So you cannot state to this court that he was in possession of active financial credit cards, correct?
Correct.
And you cannot state that those cards were actually stolen, correct?
I mean, I can. He didn't know the person. He said he picked them up at a bus stop, and he said he didn't make any efforts to return them or give them to the lost and found at the bus stop or anything. So he kept them for himself.
And you are assuming that when you're saying he doesn't know the person, because you don't know a person either, correct?
Well, I asked, he said he didn't know the person.
And you don't either, correct?
No.
No further questions.
Okay, any redirect 88 Freeman?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
Well, I did have just one quick question. In the warrant that was prepared by, I believe it was Officer Owens, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In the warrant, you stated it was confirmed that he attempted to use the car belonging to someone else. What facts do you have to support that statement in the warrant?
When he said he couldn't use them because they wouldn't work without the pen.
Okay. And you said this was a debit card?
Correct.
Do you recall if it had like a contactless icon on it where you would not necessarily need a pen, or you're not certain of what type of debit card it was?
I specifically remember one chime card, and the other one was like a actual debit card belonging to a bank. So it had a chip, so it is possible that it was contactless.
Okay. Okay, no further questions. 88 Freeman, do you have any questions in response to my questions?
No, Your Honor.
Attorney Jones, do you have any questions in response to my questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're ready for argument. 88 Freeman.
State waives opening.
Okay, Attorney Jones.
Your Honor, we ask that the charges be dismissed. As it stated beforehand, the officer does not know an actual victim. If there is a victim, I do understand that he stated that there was a name listed on it, but a part of the charges is there has to be a victim known to it. Also stated that my client stated that he did not try to use them. This is a financial transaction card. one of the elements for probable cause has to be is that he consent to an intent to use it or sell it. And he stated several times that he did not use it. The only part that the officer says that he believes that he attempted to use it is because my client stated says you cannot without a PIN, which is common knowledge on any debit card that you do not use it without a PIN. In fact, it will go to that he did not use it. And there's nothing presented saying that he attempted to use it other than the officer's assumption when he said you cannot use it without a PIN. But he did state today several times that my client said he did not use it and the officer never checked to see if it was ever used. So we do ask that it be dismissed.
Okay, ADA Freeman.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is asking that this one charge be bound over based on the testimony from Officer Owens. Given what time of day it was, he indicated that it wasn't where he could have contacted the bank to confirm any information regarding the debit card, based on what the defendant told him that that he said that you can't use it without a PIN. To him, that indicated that the defendant had in fact tried to use the card. You know, and just in all some debit cards don't require a PIN. Some you can use and you don't have to put in a PIN. And so, but the information that Officer Owens operated on was that Mr. Reese tried to use it. We believe that at this stage, that is enough for probable cause, and we're asking that this one charge be bound over to Superior Court.
I do find sufficient probable cause to bound over the charge of financial transaction card theft against Mr. Reese in this case to Superior Court of Clayton County. That will be the order of the court this morning, and that will conclude the preliminary hearing for Mr. Reese. And I'd like to thank both parties for their presentation of the case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Also,